Oh, giving all the praise to the Most High, the Son, Yahushua. God, the value of the Most High come to you. Sabbath class, get edified in the Most High God's name. The name of the class today is called "Is Paul Against the Law?" I know some of these classes are going to have to be brought out, be taught. I know a lot of Christian brothers, man, that done lost their mind. I read a post today before I came to work. It says, the so-called black people is against everything about slavery except Christianity. And I kind of really had in my mind, I was thinking about some things. That's true. We hate everything about slavery except religion. Because we know we got a God, but we just don't know how to worship him. We just don't know what he wants for us or who we are. We don't know our attributes. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17, man. Gotta get on into it. Jeremiah chapter 17. Most you already know where I'm going. Verse 4.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
What's the heritage that we would discontinue from? Precept.
Sirach 17 and 11.
Sirach 17 and 11. Let's get it for edifying purposes. Make sure y'all write Sirach chapter 17 and verse 11 beside Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
The book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11.
Read
Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance.
This was our inheritance from the Most High God. Right? This is what the Lord told us what we going to have, and this is something that we have to have. We got to deal with it. Right? That's all on it up. Verse 12.
Verse 12. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments.
And he said he made an everlasting covenant with us and showed us judgment. This right here goes into Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15. Y'all make sure y'all write that down. The everlasting covenant that he made with us, this goes into Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15 through 19. Make sure we write that down because those go one and the same. When you want to precept your Bible, this is help brothers go into a classroom. Classroom setting, not just the street teacher, but you in the classroom setting, you want to be able to distinguish which precept you can go into a little bit more deeper when you're in class. Right? Let's touch it a little bit, man. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15. This is the everlasting covenant that he made with us. When you get there, I'll read.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
This is the everlasting covenant that he made with us. He gave us an option. We're going to either do good or we're going to do evil. Right? We're going to choose life or we're going to choose good. We're going to choose death or we're going to choose evil. He gave us an option. Whichever option we take, that's on us. But he set that before us, right? Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. But if thine heart turn away,
if our heart turn away from him, read.
So that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away.
If we be drawn away any kind of way, read.
And worship other gods and serve them. I denounce you this day.
So this is what the Lord giving us an understanding of what he's saying through the mouth of Moses. He said that if we draw away from him, from keeping his laws, the Lord said, guess what, man? He gonna denounce you. Right? Read.
That ye shall surely perish.
And he get what we will perish off the land. Why you think people get get hit in all kind of ways. The Lord got many ways to hit you. He can hit your pocket. He can hit your mind. He can hit, guess what, your brothers, your sisters. He can hit your children. The Lord got many ways to hit you. Don't think that he can't get other people around you because he wants you. Y'all better go back and read the book of Jonah. Guess what? That ship was rocking the whole time. And everybody in the ship out there was going to die because he wanted Jonah to do the work. Don't think he can't get the people around you because he can. Right? Just because it ain't affecting me, yeah, but you killing everybody around you though. Right?
Read. And that you shall not prolong your days upon the land, whether thou pass over Jordan to go to possess it.
Verse 19.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death,
Read on.
blessing and curse.
Read.
Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
See how they go? Telling us to choose life so you and your children can live. This is an option. We got options out here, man. But you can't play both sides because the Lord said he'll still speak you out of his mouth, man. We got options, man. Right? Let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 17, man.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4 from the top. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
And the Lord said he caused us to serve our enemies, which we know is not. We didn't know a so-called another nation is supposed to be over us. We live in our heritage. Our heritage is supposed to be king, princes, man. Guess what? The ruling class of the world. But here we got another class. Guess what? We went from the highest class to the lowest class. Right? Read.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger,
We pissed the Most High God off, man. Read.
which shall burn forever.
And the Lord said, guess what, man? We in these curses so long, it feel like we burning forever. They told brother, man, he said, man, this got to be hell. Yeah, you know you're in hell. So when you put out a cigarette, you ain't got a light, just pull on. It's hell, man. You got to get up and go to work at their jobs. You got to go to everything. Like the Lord said, what a wonderful thing, man. Right? This is real hell when you got to go to everybody but your God to get what you need. But when we choosing our God back, this is when our God chooses us back, man. Go to Amos chapter 3, man. We go into how we unlock the Bible, man.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the God will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
Read that again, huh?
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
The Lord said he would do nothing without revealing his secret to the prophet, man. Everything that we learn in Israel has been revealed. Everything that we know in this walk has been revealed. The Lord ain't going to do nothing above that. He showed us what it was. We, as people, guess what? We don't think like the Lord. We ain't locked in like him, man. But if we ever tap into our source, we ever tap into our God, we can really see the benefits of this world, man. How you think everybody ain't got clothes on. But everybody ain't about their clothes in different places. We didn't all go to the same shop to buy our clothes in. We didn't all go to the same place to buy our glasses, our hats, our shoes. We didn't all go to the same place. But yet we all got some of the same things though. Why? Because everybody got a piece in our pocket, man. The Lord said he revealed everything out of this Bible. Just like when going like we're going to get ready to touch on now, going into Paul, going into Christ. Guess what? A lot of Christians, when they read the Bible, they be blinded. Why? Because they not keeping the law. Clear point that we tell brothers and sisters all the time. If you wanted to be a doctor, don't you know you got to live like a doctor and go through all the practice to become a doctor? So if you are a person that studies the Bible, don't you know you got to go through that practice and live like that to understand the Bible? That's simple. That's common sense.
Even to want to be like Christ, you have to do the things that Christ did. You have to practice the laws that Christ did, and even just on a common sense level that they can't understand, man. It's basic common sense, man.
It is. And guess what? That always, I know, even for the children to the grown-ups, man, that gives us a step up that we don't think that we have. But the Lord told us in Deuteronomy chapter 4, this is our wisdom and our understanding in the sight of the nation. Anything else that we talking, we looking foolish. But when we got God's laws, statutes, and commandments, we look like man, what this nigga know? How he know this? Right? Go to Ezekiel chapter 38. He said he can't do nothing but reveal these things to the prophets, man. To the prophets. Guess what? Another nation can't teach us this Bible, man. We can't go to their cemetery schools and theological schools and think they can be able to teach us. They can't teach us nothing. What they gonna tell us, man? That God loves just only us? You think Esau gonna tell us that God just love y'all and we gonna be killed off the planet? You think Esau gonna ever tell us that? Hell no. He gonna tell us that in a million years. But he make me feel like guess what? God loves everybody, man, and you my brother. Only people that can be prophets in this Bible is this right here. You go to Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 17. Get down and read it.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 17. Thus said the Lord God,
What do you say?
art thou he of whom I have spoken in old times by my servants, the prophets of Israel?
The prophets of Israel, man. There's no other prophets in the Bible, man. And everybody else that's in another nation that's thinking they're a prophet, you is a liar. And the Most High God ain't working with you, man. Right? A lot of times, guess what? People think that they can come out here, just even on a smaller level, can come out on the streets and go against the doctrine that we get. Every person that has a doctrine, guess what? Go out to the street and defend that doctrine. Why you even think, man, hey, I'm just being honest with you. Yuck used to be on fire. Why his ass ain't on the street still teaching like he was teaching? Because his doctrine is garbage, man. And everybody that got a doctrine, they can't stand on their doctrine, guess what? You will see them fade back. That's what people do. Now all of a sudden the prophets of the Most High God will turn into the wimps. Right? What kind of games we playing, man? Is we for the Most High God or is we for ourselves, man? Right? Read that again, huh?
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 17. Thus said the Lord God, art thou he of whom I have spoken old time by my servants, the prophets of Israel?
The prophets of Israel, read.
Which prophesied in those days many years.
Many years, man, read.
That I will bring thee against them.
Guess what, man? And this is what we prophesy right now. We're going to bring thee, which is Yahushua, against them. Because guess what? Yahushua is going to come against them. And the Lord told us everybody that we found with them going to be thrust through, man. And I know some of us, we love begging. Right? We love Christian at the job. Christian bring all kinds of stuff. Christian gave me 4 more hours on my time this week. But guess what? Christian needs you to stay late tomorrow, and you don't stay late tomorrow. Christian gonna make your whole week a hell, bro, the whole week hell. And you be like, dang, why I'm going through so much? Because Christian in the office saying every goddamn thing he can to bring you down. That's how they wickedness go, man. That's why they can't teach us the Bible, man. Right? That's how they get lost. Isaiah chapter 29. That's how they get lost, man. Start at verse 10.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
Because a lot of our people don't went into deep sleep. Yes, hell, we was all in deep sleep once before. Before we got, but we up now. And guess what, Master? We can read now. We ain't got to do. We sleep. You can't read when you sleep. We woke now. We can see it. Read on.
And hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered.
Guess what the Lord said? He covered all everybody's eyes. That's why he was reading in Jeremiah 17 and 4. He said, thou, even yourself, will be discontinued from your heritage. Right? You got to believe it. Read on.
And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed.
And a lot of these visions of this book became sealed. Guess what? Until the Most High God woke us up. Right? But read.
A book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned.
They're men delivered to one that is learned. Read.
Saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed.
So guess what? What you think is happening now? Why you think they keep running back to us? Because the book is sealed to them. Why do you think we ain't running today? We ain't running to their spots. They keep running into us. Why? Because the book is sealed to them. Right? But it's not sealed to us. Because we live this way. Right? We think this way. We walk this way. Guess what? Our understanding of the Bible is this way. They keep running to us because it's sealed. They want it bad. But even after we teach them, guess what? It right back up, closed again. They can't get it. They're not going to live it. Right? Read it.
Verse 11, and the vision of all is become unto you. Select. Verse 12, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned. Saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned.
He said, I am not learned. Right? Read.
Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as his people draw near me with their mouth.
This is why they're not learned. Because the Lord said they draw near me with their mouth, man. Read.
And with their lips do honor me.
Read.
But have removed their heart far from me.
That's why the Lord sealed the book up from them. Because their hearts go so far from the Most High God, man. And guess what? Now you see the sleep is going to get heavier and heavier. It's going to get thicker and thicker until they be lost, man. Right? Read.
And their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men.
Now, guess what? Fear towards the Most High God is taught by the precepts of men. What is the precepts of God? Which is what? Jump over. This is God's precept. Isaiah 28. Start at verse 9. Right? This is how God say precepts are supposed to be. But men precepts, guess what? They come out and say on the street, say, no, read the whole thing. You a damn fool, man. You think we're going to sit out here and read the whole book of Isaiah chapter 28 to you?
You're not going to listen.
For real.
I mean, we would, but you ain't going to listen here.
Real.
You just trying to read down to see if you can catch us up in the scripture. That's all you trying to do. That's it, man.
And guess what? And that's what an unlearned Christian will do every time. Every time. You want to put Paul over Christ. Man, you lost your damn mind, man. I guess Paul gonna crack that sky and come get you. Read it,
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 9.
Read.
Whom shall he teach knowledge?
Read on.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
This is how the Lord is talking through the prophet Isaiah. How can we understand doctrine, man? Read.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
Everybody that be weaned from the milk, guess what, man? I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, man. Whatever your role is, whatever your job, we're going through this stuff today. Whatever your role and your job is, don't take your foot off the plow, man. If the Lord made you a teacher, guess what? You better get your ass out and teach, man. And sisters, the Most High God made you to make dresses or whatever. Don't you bag up not one little bit. Whatever He gave you, guess what? You work your gift. Because sometimes, guess what? People be around you, and these people be a flat-foot fool. Why? Because guess what? The Lord gave you a gift to do. Now you gonna, guess what? You don't fill your trash can up so much to the point, guess what? Your trash spilling all over everybody. Because guess what? He done filled you up already. You want to put your stuff with the Most High God stuff. You sitting on everybody. Brothers and sisters alike, because guess what? We got people that sit amongst us in our own congregation. Sitting on another sister or sitting on another brother, guess what? The Most High God will judge you too. That's how I roll. You better be able to check your spirit in the gate. When the Most High God put it on you, that's what you're supposed to do. When we learn about the precepts of the Most High God, this is how we build.
Let me get a precept
Right? Go ahead.
Let's go to the book of Sirach, even to build off of what I was saying. Well, this is no precept. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 27. Like you say, you want to keep the spirit at work. Like we always say, idle time is what, brothers and sisters? The devil's playground, man. That thing say, that's a true saying. When you lacking doing the work in the truth, it open up more demons to guess what, to attack you. But if brothers and sisters are diligently coming to class, diligently watching class, diligently read, guess what? You don't have a chance for these spirits to come in unto you. You know the spirits that you deal with: lust, hatred, envy, strife, contention. Brothers and sisters that can't shake that, guess what? You have idle time. Read this out.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 27. Send him to labor.
Read it again out.
Send him to labor.
The Most High God is saying, send them to labor. Like I said, if you make dresses, if you make garments, you do things for the ministry, keep doing those things. And if you need more things to do, guess what? Add more work to it. Read on.
Send him to labor, that he be not idle.
That you're not just sitting around doing nothing. Because, like you say, when you're sitting around doing something, guess what? It allows demons to come in to what? Try to corrupt your mind. Oh, this sister said such and such against you. When you find it out, it wasn't that. This brother said this brother said that. You go and do an inquisition to those things, it's not that. It's the Most High God uses Satan to do what? Play on your emotions and on your spirit. Read on.
For idleness teacheth much evil.
Read that again.
For idleness.
You just sitting around not doing the work, not coming to camp, not coming to class. Do what?
For idleness teacheth much evil.
That stuff teaches much evil, brothers and sisters. Man, read on.
Verse 28. Set him to work.
Do what?
Set him to work.
And that's for brothers and sisters in the congregation. There's work that needs to be done amongst the sisters as well as amongst the brothers. Read on up.
As it's fit for him.
As it is fit for you, because everybody can't make garments. Everybody can't, guess what, do this and do that. Most High God is giving you your talent. You have to utilize that. Read on.
If he be not obedient,
Put
on more heavy
And
better.
the Most High God said, if that's not enough, man, guess what? You need to find more things to do, man. Go ahead,
Hey, zoom in, play. Read verse 25. Verse 25. If thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest.
So if you are laboring in this truth, that's where you find your rest. You find your rest in it, because now you're finding what's compatible to your life. Basically, when we're finding out we're Israelites, now we have rest in the world, because now we're doing the things that the Israelite does, and now we have understanding and we can see what the world is trying to bring to us. So that's our rest. But read.
But if thou let him go idle,
But if you want to keep going idle and keep stopping playing games, what it's going to do?
he shall seek liberty.
It's a learned behavior now. Let's say you miss Sabbath class one week. Now you're going to seek liberty for the next reason why you're going to miss that Sabbath class next week. Now you're looking for another, and then you got another reason for why you miss Sabbath class the next week. Until it what? Until it destroy you. See that? That's why you got to stay put. That's why you got to stay grounded. That's why you got to stay in. Because learned behaviors is what we've been taught. We've learned behavior of the world. We had learned behaviors of doing birthdays and Christmas. Now our learned behaviors is what? Doing the high holy day. Of what? Moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws. But once you start coming off them learned behaviors, guess what? You go back into the other behaviors you used to have. Now you're looking for reasons to get up out of those learned behaviors. Like Christians do. Oh, well, he nailed it to the cross. I can't afford it. Right? That's the liberty you're looking for. Let's see. Go ahead.
I'm gonna let me back off of that the one he just pulled in Sirach 33:27. Let's go to Proverbs and 19:15. Chapter 19, verse
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 15. Slothfulness casts into a deep sleep.
So a lot of times when you've been lazing around in this truth, man, you stop doing the work of the Most High, you just falling back to sleep. You're going to fall right back into this state of mind that you just woke up from. Go ahead.
Slothfulness casts into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger.
Said what?
Shall suffer hunger.
The idle soul, you're going to suffer hunger because you're going to be not eating the food of the Most High. You're going to fall yourself right back into that world, man. And hey, and you mess around and going to start having fun again. It's going to be fun to you. So where you're going to forget about the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 16. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul.
That's why you got to keep the commandments, and this one of the commandments, but we're not an idle person. We should be always looking for something to do, meditating on the word, reading the word, doing something in this truth at all times. Go ahead.
But he that despiseth his ways
If you despise the Most High God's way, what?
shall die.
Shall what?
Shall die.
Shall what?
Shall die.
Shall die. A lot of times, I remember my father, when a lot of times the older people, my father used to be up and around. He kept his mind. And everybody's like, you need to sit down. You need to sit down. You need to sit down. You got too old. But the minute my father sat down and stopped doing work, guess what? He died. But when he was busy, his mind was stronger. And then a lot of times when you're not busy, you just back into the deep sleep till you die. So it's always good to keep our minds going, to keep these laws on it, keep doing what the Most High God has put on our hearts to be doing in this truth, and consistently do it. Con?
Go to Isaiah chapter 28, man. Start at verse 9, now. 28.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Read.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Read.
For precept must be upon
He
precept.
said precept must be upon precept when you read.
Precept upon precept. Line upon line.
Read.
Line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
So guess what, man? This is how we supposed to learn the Bible. We want to get dark. We want to get the dark parables. You want to get the secret parables. You want to unlock the mystery of the Bible. This is how you unlock the mystery of the Bible. No matter how many times we read this to Christians, guess what? They still don't know how to damn precept, man. Christians learn how to precept y'all damn Bible, man. They still, guess what? I don't care what nationality they is, man. They still don't know how to. They don't know how to damn precept it. Do you know a Christian that really know how to precept his Bible? They'll agree with you. Guess what? Just like the brother that came out last weekend, he agreed with us on some aspects, but then turn around and said that Jesus is God. And we like, well, if Jesus is God, then why you got to go to the Most High? Well, that's God too. I said, brother, that's confusion, bro. That's confusion, man. Right?
And you know what they use Christians use it all the time. You got to rightfully divide the word. Rightfully dividing the word is Isaiah 28. That's how you rightfully divide the word. What they saying is grab everything and make everybody be in the kingdom. And that's rightfully dividing the word. That's not how it's done. It's telling you that's Isaiah 28 what it's telling you. When they always shout that out.
Watch this. We're gonna stay. We said we're supposed to break it down precept upon precept. Watch this, verse 13.
Verse 13. But the word of the Lord was unto them.
He said, but the word of the Lord was unto them, read.
Precept upon precept.
Precept upon precept.
Precept upon precept.
Read.
Line upon line.
Read.
Line upon line.
Read.
Here a little and there a little.
Guess what? It came to us, the ones that were doing this law, statutes, and commandments, we understood precept upon precept. But then it came to them precept upon precept, and watch what happened. Read.
That they might go and fall backwards.
And they fell backwards when they started learning precept upon precept. Y'all see how that went? With us, that understand and know and understand the law, it made sense. With them, they fell backwards. Why? Because they didn't know how to precept. They didn't understand the Bible because they wasn't living it. Right? Or read.
and be broken,
and it was broken, read.
and snared,
And it was a snare to them, read.
and taken.
And it was taken by. They didn't want to accept what this was, right? This is how we break down a theological person. And Isaiah showed us a clear understanding through the Most High God on how to break them down. And we say, well, I speak the Greek. Well, we got to go into the Greek and go into this. Jump up to verse 11, man.
Verse 11, for with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
So guess what? Now we learn the Bible in English, man. It's in English for a reason, man. Guess what? We can play around and we can go all this. No, but we're going to stick right here. We're going to stick right here. This is how brothers keep them in place when we don't speak teaching. No, the Lord said with the stammering lips and another tongue, He's going to teach our people. Well, it was written in the Greek at first, but the Lord said in the stammering lips and another tongue shall He teach our people.
And better learned men that literally spoke Greek fluently translated the Bible, man. That's the point too. Brothers want to say that they speak Greek by saying certain words, brother. They ain't speaking Greek. You just saying one Greek word, brother. It's a total difference, man. So more learned brothers had already translated the Bible that spoke Greek fluently, man. So we have a good translation of the scriptures.
And that's a show a good example. Because a lot of people do this. Oh, I speak the Greek. I can speak Spanish. No. That don't mean I know how to speak Spanish.
Say
One word. And it's probably Hosea gets to talking to me, I don't understand nothing. Right? That's what it said, right? Let's go to Acts, man. When we go into Paul's writing, when we learn about Paul, guess what? To break Christians down, we gotta go to the book of Acts. Before they go to Corinthians, before they go to Ephesians, before they go to Galatians, before they go to Romans, we go to the book of Acts. This shows Paul's journey, and this shows how he dealt with Israel and how he was dealing with the rulers of the people. And guess what? It shows if Paul kept the law, or if Paul kept the law, and if he taught the law, right? Acts chapter 21, starting verse 18.
Book of Acts, chapter 21, verse 18. In the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them,
read.
he declared particularly what things God had brought among the Gentiles by his ministry.
So guess what? He started telling them what God was showing about the ministry, right? What he's supposed to be doing, right? You know.
Verse 20, and when they heard it, they glorified the Lord.
And when they heard it, they glorified the Most High God, man. They glorified the Most High God, right? Read.
And said unto him,
What do you say?
Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law.
And they are all zealous of the law, right? This is how we break down the scriptures to give us a better understanding. We said how they all were zealous of the law. Because what was some of the things that Paul was debating about? Here, brothers tell me. Circumcision, we're going to go into that today. What else he was arguing about in the law? Yeah, the resurrection of Christ. What else? The Gentile. That really wasn't a big debate about either one. The biggest debate was going into the Gentiles. Who were the Gentiles who was Paul going to? It's part of what that's going into Gentiles. The Gentiles, circumcision, what else? Said the Gentiles, circumcision, what else we say? And the resurrection of Christ. These are three focal points. Guess what? In Christianity, this is how they get the Trinity doctrine. This is how they get immaculate conception. This is how they get all kinds of weird doctrines out of this. Right? But we're going to learn what Paul said because Paul know how to speak for himself. Don't nobody have to talk to Paul, but Paul literally going to go through and speak for himself, right? Where we at?
What did they think Paul was doing? With Paul's understanding, with his understanding, what did the elders, the chief, what did they think that Paul was doing?
Trying to teach the form of nations.
Close. What did they think Paul was doing? They thought he was bringing a new doctrine, man. They thought he was teaching against the law of Moses, or the law of Most High God. Remember that. Keep that in your head. They thought Paul was teaching against our doctrine. That's a main focal point in this chapter right here. Go ahead.
And like I said, that is the main focal point. But watch how Paul do when they brought it to Paul. But read it out.
Verse 21, and they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses.
Y'all see how they go? We want that to seek in. He said, man, you teaching all the Jews that was among the Gentiles. Right? Saying what
saying that they ought to circumcise their
Hold
children,
on, read that again.
or ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs.
So now, this goes into the doctrine that we try to start breaking down through the Spirit of the Most High God, right? But we're gonna touch circumcision, but not just yet. I want to read some more. Read.
What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together,
And so the multitude must need come together. Read.
for they will hear that thou art come. Do therefore this that we say to thee, for we have 4 men which have a vow on them.
What vow did the men have on them? The Nazarite vow. How we prove it? Because they're right. This is gonna pop back up because we're gonna read it about a Nazarite vow again. And we're gonna go down the line and do a couple more scriptures. We're gonna read down the line. What vow the brothers have on them again? How we prove it? Read what? What is the Nazarite vow? Go to Numbers chapter 6. Come on, man. You dance. Go to it, man. Go to Numbers chapter 6, man. This is the vow that they're talking about. Numbers chapter 6. Start at verse 2.
The book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite.
Because guess what? What did Paul do? You're going to see Paul do what? Separate himself. How? He separated himself with the 4 brothers. This is what we're going to go back and read. Right, read it.
To separate themselves unto the Lord. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink,
All right, read it.
and shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes, or dry. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of vine tree.
So this goes into break down the Nazarite vow. We'll read on.
From the kernels even to the husk,
Read.
all the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled, in the which he separated himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of the hair of the hair of his head grow.
Now, like you say, if you just read all the way down, this goes into break down the vow of Nazarite. That's a whole other class in itself. That's the Hallelujah brothers. That's new class.
And what is he doing when he's taking the Nazarite vow?
Separated himself from the Most High.
Hold on.
Oh, let me tell you, what is he doing, y'all? Okay. He's keeping the law. When they thinking he don't keep the law, he's going against the law. He's doing nothing. He's doing it straight out of the law. Which is why they asked him to take the vow.
That's right. Let's go back. Watch what it says. We go back to Acts chapter 21.
Yeah, hold your peace to after class, sis. According to 1 Corinthians.
We'll start at verse 23.
The book of Acts, chapter 21, verse 23. Do therefore this that we say to thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. Them take and purify thyself with them,
Separate yourself with them, read.
and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed
So
concerning.
what they did when they in our custom, when they took the vow of Nazarite, they shaved their heads completely, and from that point on, they didn't cut it no more. Y'all get that? This is how the Nazarite vow starts. You just can't go with fresh full hair and then start the Nazarite. No, we're gonna start from the beginning and let your hair grow. This is how the Nazarite vow go into effect. But read.
Or nothing, but thou thyself also walkest orderly, and keepest the law.
So Paul did this to show what? That he was keeping the law. He clearly did it so he's showing that he was keeping the law, right, Marie?
As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols,
Read.
and from blood, and from strangling, and from fornication.
Read on, right?
Then Paul took the men, and the next day purifying himself with them.
See, Paul took them and he separated. Paul himself took the men and they separated themselves, right? And they purified themselves, right? Read.
Entered into the temple to signify the accomplishment of those days of purification,
Read.
until that an offering should be offered for every one of them.
So guess what? After they did the vow of Nazarite, guess what? They was doing what? They still was doing all. Right? But Paul took that vow at that time, even after he already knew Christ was the sacrifice, he did that to show them, look, brother, you just gonna break down what we're going to go into on the circumcision. When you circumcision or uncircumcision, it don't matter. Christ is dead, regardless. Right?
Jump up to verse 25.
Verse 25, as touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangling, and from fornication.
Because the point is, how do we know it's what? What Gentiles is this? Do brothers know? What Gentiles is? Brothers don't know, it's all right. But any brother that know, raise your hand and answer the question. What Gentile is this?
Gentiles of the other nations.
Read it again.
Not Gentiles.
Read it again.
As touching the Gentiles which believe,
Which who?
which believe.
Gentiles of what you say, Brother Fred? Gentiles of the other nations?
They're doing what they're doing.
No. Read it again.
Read it again.
As touching the
That's
Gentiles
right.
which believe.
Which believe. They believe in Christ and they believe in keeping the law. So these are what? Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind. Read on.
We have written and concluded that they observe no such thing,
That they observe no such thing going into what? The Nazarite vow. Read on.
save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols,
Because guess what? The Gentiles, their gods are idols. Read on.
and from blood,
And from blood. Read on.
and from strangling,
Uh-huh.
and from fornication.
Going into what? The law. Leviticus 19 and 26. Eating no blood. These are things very pivotal. It points you out on how we know what Gentiles is talking about. Because we know that the other nations not in them to do what, brothers? It's not in them to keep God's commandments. It's not in the other nations to keep God's laws, man.
Well, I'm telling you, y'all can incorporate Christians in this damn scripture. Said they believe, but they were partiality. They only believed certain parts, right? They only did certain things. That's why they thought it was different than Paul was teaching. He was giving more clarity. That's all, more understanding, more wisdom than they had on them, because they were in partiality of people.
Let me prove that point too. Let's go to 2nd Ezra. Brothers should know 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 35 real quick. To prove that, guess what? This is going into what? The Gentile, Israelite Gentiles in the state of mind. That's why it's very important that you carefully read the scriptures, man. It'll literally define how we know what Gentiles is talking about. You brothers understand that? This is a proof text. Read this, huh?
Look at 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 35. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight,
Uh-huh.
or what people have so kept thy commandments.
Or what people have kept the Most High God's commandments, man. Eating no blood, strangle, not worshiping idols. These are the commandments of the Most High. Read on.
Thou shalt find that Israel,
That who?
that Israel,
That the other nations.
that Israel,
Read on, huh?
by name,
By who?
by name,
By name and reputation. Read on.
hath kept thy precepts.
Have kept thy law. That's what a precept means. A precept is a law. Read on.
But not the heathen.
You will find by name that Israel keep the laws of the Most High God, but not the heathen. This is how we know this is talking about Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. So don't let Christians catch you up with this. Go ahead,
Go back to Acts chapter 21. We'll jump down to verse 28. This is after they just got finished putting hands on Paul, man. They draw him out the temple and they start whooping Paul's butt, man. Right? We'll watch this reading.
The book of Acts, chapter 21, verse 28, crying out, men of Israel, help. This is the man that teaches all men everywhere against the people and the law and this place.
Guess what, man? This is the same thing that Christians think Paul doing. Teaching against Jerusalem, teaching against the people, and teaching against the law. They think Paul literally is doing this, man. Right? They literally think Paul is doing this. That's why they literally doing it themselves. Right? But read.
And Father brought Greeks also into the temple,
And they say he brought the Edomites into the temple with him, man. But read.
and had polluted this holy
And
place.
they said Paul polluted the holy place, man. Read.
Verse 29, for they had seen before with him in the city Trumpius, an Ephesian, whom they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. And all the city was moved, and the people ran together. And they took Paul and drew him out of the temple. And forthwith the doors were shut. And as they went about to kill him, tidings came unto the chief captain of the band that all Jerusalem was in an uproar.
They was in an uproar. Why? Because guess what? They finna hurt Paul real bad. But they gonna hurt him or kill him. Right? Well, why was this why over one person, why was this just a big uproar like this? Because at the time, guess what? Even just think about the uproar that we bring in when we keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. It's a big uproar. Guess what? To the masses and to the world, guess what? It ain't no big uproar. But soon you cut the channel on, guess what? You see 20 bots on that mug. Right? 20 people on there, and then you click on their channel, they ain't even got no damn channel. Why they watching? What y'all looking at? Why you watching? Because guess what? This thing making noise. Christianity been around forever. He said that it was supposed to be preaching to the four corners, then Christ is going to come. Christianity been preaching to the four corners over and over again. Why they ain't came yet? Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Right? Watch this. Jump down to verse 37, man.
Verse
Listen,
37.
Paul, after they try to beat up Paul, and then they grab, after they try to beat up Paul, guess what? The police basically came and grabbed Paul out, and now Paul finna get ready to go speak to the people. Man. Watch this.
Verse 37. And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto thee?
Read.
Who said, can thou speak Greek?
Guess what? And Paul really could speak Greek. Not so many people that's saying around.
one word.
One word and Greek.
Theos and theon.
Real, man. It's crazy, man. Paul really could speak Greek. So he asked Paul, could you speak Greek? Read.
Are not thou that Egyptian?
Because guess what? He thought Paul was the Egyptian because he's so-called black man.
That's right.
Right? Read.
Which before these days made us an uproar,
He said, you made an uproar. Read.
and led us out into the wilderness, 4,000 men that were murderers.
So guess what? This is the same Paul that was going out to the wilderness that was going out killing our people. Paul was a stone cold killer, and he was murdering our people, man. Why you think when the Lord came to Paul, he had to afflict Paul first? Why? Because the Lord said in your affliction you'll seek me early. That's how you get our attention. So if you want the Lord to get your attention, that's why a fast must be. So you can get the Lord's attention, man. So the Lord can get your attention. Lord, I'm doing this. I need some help. I need some help to do something. Go through that affliction so you can get there, man. Right? But read it.
Verse 39, but Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew.
Which is a what?
Which am a Jew.
That means that, so he's showing that he's not no damn Egyptian. He's a Jew. Right? Read.
Of Tarsus.
Of Tarsus, read.
A city in Sicily. A citizen of no mean city. And I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people.
Uh-huh.
And when he had given him license,
so he gave him license to speak to the people, read.
Paul stood on the stairs and beckoned with the hand unto the people.
He tell them to come here. Hey, y'all come here. Read.
And when there was made a great silence, he spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue,
Guess what?
saying,
This is that Paul. Paul come to talk to them in the Hebrew tongue. The people that can really speak Hebrew.
That's right.
Right?
And when it says a citizen of no mean city, meaning what? Paul wasn't from the hood. You know, in the hoods, they mean in the hood, man. No, Paul wasn't from the hood, man. He was a prestigious man. He had money. He speak many languages. That's why the Most High God had Christ to use. Because he had what? Passports to be able to come and go as he pleased. That's what no mean city means. He wasn't from the hood.
Right? Let's go to chapter 22, verse 3.
Book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 3.
He's still speaking in the Hebrew tongue, though, right? To the people. But read it.
I am verily a man which am a Jew,
Uh-huh.
born in Tarsus, a city in Sicily, yet brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law.
I don't understand it. Paul said he literally taught into the perfect manner of the law.
Brothers, highlight and underline that, man. Highlight and underline that, man. You have to learn to make footnotes in your Bible to highlight the points that I'm bringing out, man.
Right? Yeah. Read it.
And taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the Father,
Uh-huh.
and was zealous towards God.
And he's out. He didn't just teach it. He was zealous towards these things. Read.
As ye all are this
He
day.
said, "How y'all keeping the law, statutes, and commandments? I'm doing it too." Right? But guess what? Not only that, he didn't start confessing his sin. Read.
And I persecuted this way unto the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women.
Guess what? Paul started telling them, I look here. I started grabbing some of y'all up, putting y'all in prison. I was killing some of y'all. Guess what? Let's think about, we had a dude when they trying to kill half of us, boy, he done killed down some of us, but he stand up here now, he stand up here talking to us.
For real.
We ain't gonna really want to hear him neither. Everybody here, guess what, man? He said, that's why he said a man that's a person that's offended is hard to clean like a strong city.
Let's jump over and read it right quick.
Right?
Acts chapter 8, verse 3. Go right back to it. Make sure brothers write that precept. Make sure sisters write that precept. Acts chapter 8, verse 3. Remember, the book of Acts is going into what? The acts of the apostles. The things that they did. The places that they went to do what? To reach our people. You get there, read that out.
The book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 3. As for Saul,
Who is Saul, brothers? Paul. As for Saul, read on.
he made havoc of the church.
He made havoc of the church. That's another precept for the church, too. He made havoc of the church, man. Read on, huh?
Entering into every house, and hailing men and women, committed them to prison.
Committing them to prison, man. He snatching people up, man. Hey, y'all teaching some different doctrine, man. Hey, y'all gotta, I gotta face the judgment, man. Go ahead, I'll go back.
Go back, man. Matter of fact, jump over to chapter 24, verse 1.
And that's also letting you know that that's a people. That's the church. Because he was entering in every house. Not that building that everybody gathered at. But he was entering every house when he was disturbing the church.
24 and 1.
The book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 1.
Okay, Paul was a what? Pharisee or Sadducee?
Pharisee.
How you know?
Because he was born in Rome.
It says it plain in the scripture.
For real.
What scripture? I just want to see if y'all had to go before I skip. Go to Acts chapter 23. Start at verse 6, man. I was going to skip it, but Acts chapter 23, start at verse 6.
The book of Acts, chapter 23, verse 6. But when Paul perceived that one part was Sadducee and the other part Pharisee,
Because they was arguing back and forth about Christ. So when he seen that one part of them was Sadducee and the other part was Pharisee, read.
he cried out in the council, men and brethren, I am a Pharisee.
He said he is a what?
I am a Pharisee.
Paul literally just told you he was a Pharisee. So when we asked Paul was a Pharisee, this is the scripture that tells you what Paul is a Pharisee, right? But it also gave you the difference between a Pharisee and a Sadducee too. And we're going to read that too. We'll read it.
I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee,
He said the son of a Pharisee, read.
of the hope and resurrection of the dead. I am called in question. And when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided.
Read verse 8, the point.
For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both.
Y'all see how they go? The Sadducee says what that there is no resurrection, neither angels nor spirit. You know what?
They didn't believe that you would be raised back up by the Most High. They didn't believe in angels. They didn't believe in spirits jumping on people. They didn't believe in that stuff.
Like some of them don't even believe in miracles. So, hey,
Yeah, for real.
it's tough. Let's go with chapter 24, verse 1.
Book of Acts, chapter 24, verse
If
1.
we're going too fast, raise your hand. But go ahead.
Acts chapter 24, verse 1. And after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul.
So they was informing the governor against Paul. Man. Guess what? But guess what? Paul finna get ready to start talking for himself. Man. Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. Who also had gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law.
Read on.
But the chief captain, Messiah, came upon us, and with great violence took him away out of our hands.
Because guess what? They were saying Paul was breaking the law. He was teaching against the law. But then they said no. But Silas came and took him out of our hands, right? Well, watch this. Though, read.
But the chief captain, Messiah, also like verse 8, commanding his accusers to come unto thee, by examining of whom thyself mayest take knowledge of all these things whereof we accuse him. And the Jews also assented, saying that these things were so.
Read on.
Then Paul, after that, the governor had begged unto him to speak, answered.
So guess what? After they said Paul was doing all of this, keep in mind when you read Ephesians, Corinthians, Galatians, we reading this stuff. This is what Paul said before all these letters being written out to all these places. Right? Read.
For as much as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself.
So Paul said he finna answer for himself right now. If he keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, if he teach God's law, statutes, and commandments, he said, I'm finna answer for myself right now, right? Read.
Because that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship.
He said 12 days ago, you went to Jerusalem to worship, and what did he do in Jerusalem?
And they neither
Hold
found.
on. What did he do in Jerusalem?
Preach.
Well, stay with me, brother. Huh? No. What we just read, stay with us. It's a storyline. Stay with us. We in Acts. He just took the vow of Nazarite 12 days ago. That's what he was doing. Remember, the elders was telling him, hey, Paul, you was teaching this, you was teaching that. They said, if you not teaching that, go take the vow of Nazarite. Paul went took the vow of Nazarite, guess what, to show the people, no, I'm keeping the commandments, right? Stay with us, right? Okay, read.
Verse 12, they even found me in the temple.
So Paul said, when I was in Jerusalem, they either found me in the temple doing what?
Disputing with any man,
He said, I ain't dispute with no man in there. Read.
neither raising up the people,
He said, I need to raise up the people. Read.
neither in the synagogue, nor in the city.
Read.
Neither can they prove the things were of them. They now accuse him.
So guess what? Even now to this day, they still can't prove that Paul, guess what, speaking against the law, statutes, and commandments. But guess what? When they read Paul right, they start talking about law. Guess what? When you say the law is done away with, guess what? What law is it going into? Going into a sacrificial law. Keep in mind, this is how Paul was writing this epistle, man, in the letter. Well, watch how it go, though. Well, read.
Verse 14, but this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets.
Why did Paul literally just say, I believe all things that was written in the law and in the prophets? Because he was keeping the commandments. It says it clear and plain for itself. Brothers, make sure y'all highlight this thing. Because guess what? These is the same precept that we will have to use if a Christian scoffer was trying to come up against Paul. Hey, no, Paul said we supposed to do this. No, Paul said it himself. I need to speak for myself. Because if anybody else will speak for somebody, you will speak a lie.
And that's what they were doing. They was bearing false witness on Paul.
Right? Exactly what they were doing, man. They were bearing false witness on Paul, man.
Who else was getting done like this? Right, and who else will have to even Christ? What do they say when we on the street? Y'all don't keep them laws. And they try to get us caught up. You got that on. That's not a law. You did that. The tattoos they repented for. They don't understand that, but they try to catch you up. Same thing they were doing with Yahushua, same thing they were doing with Paul.
Right? Go to chapter 25, verse 1, man.
Acts chapter 25, verse 1. Now, when Festus was coming to the province, after 3 days he is sent from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Then the high priest and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul and besought him and desired
Let's
favor.
block y'all. Read verse 2 again.
Verse 2. Then the high priest and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul and besought him and desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, lying wait in the way to kill him.
So guess what, man? They was trying to tell Festus, guess what, man? We need to bring Paul down here to Jerusalem. Why? Because the people wanted to kill Paul. But the Lord had already sent message to Paul, don't go back to Jerusalem, because if you do, they're going to kill you. So Paul already knew not to go there. So guess what? Paul get ready and talk to himself again. Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. And when he had tarried among them more than 10 days, he went down to Caesarea. And the next day, sitting in the judgment seat, commanded Paul to be brought. And when he was come, the Jews which came down from Jerusalem stood round about and laid many and grievous complaints against Paul, which they could not prove.
Which they couldn't what do?
Which they could not prove.
Guess what? They laid many grievous things against Paul that they couldn't prove, man. Think about how Christians keep doing for Paul. They said so much stuff against Paul, even right now, that they can't prove. Like, brother, show us in the scriptures where Paul's going to go off. Show us in the scriptures where Paul taught against the law. Right? They did many things against Paul that they could not prove, man. Right? They came down. They left Jerusalem to come down to the court where Festus was at to try to go against Paul. Right? Or read.
Verse 8. While he answered for himself.
While he again answered him for himself. Right?
Neither against the law of the Jews, neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar have I offended anything at all.
Guess what? Paul is saying this again, man. I ain't did nothing offend against the law. I ain't break the law of the land. I ain't break Festus' law, man. I ain't break nobody's law. Right? Paul himself saying these things, man. Right? We'll read.
But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said, Wilt thou go up to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these things before me?
So they telling Paul, I said, well, okay, if you ain't do nothing, go to Jerusalem and get. Festus said, if you ain't did nothing, go to Jerusalem and you get your get the judgment down in Jerusalem, right? Well, watch this reading.
Verse 10, then said Paul, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat.
He said, nah, I'm right here getting judged. I ain't going nowhere. I'm standing right here in your judgment seat. Judge me right now. Because if I ain't broke no law, why would I have to go somewhere else to get judged? Judge me right here, right? But read.
Where I ought to be judged.
He said, this is why I ought to be judged. Read.
To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest.
He said, man, I don't understand how. Paul said, you very well know I ain't did nothing. Y'all very well know I ain't break no law. I did the Bible, I did everything I'm supposed to do to make y'all happy. And y'all still keep saying that I'm doing this. Right? This is how they build a big old case on Paul, saying that he ain't keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. And they still doing this right now. Right? What you have?
Nah, I'm just going to say, because this is the same thing you got to understand. These are the same people who came against Yahweh when he was there, who had him put to death. So now here this other, they like, wait a minute, we thought we killed that. But now here Paul comes to still bring that message out. They like, we got to put him to death the same way they were trying to get rid of Yahweh. They were doing Paul the same way, because it was the same message that Yahweh brought out. They were like, we got to end this now. Go ahead.
I was all right.
Let's go to Revelation chapter 2, because guess what? The things that Paul went through, guess what? We're going to have to go through these things too. At the height of Jacob's trouble, man. Let's get what Christ was warning us of these things. Let's go to Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Just like he was bound and questioned, made false accusations against, we're going to have to go through those things too. So these things are preparing us. What you say? Romans chapter 15, verse 4. You get that, read that out.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
Read it again from the top.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
The same thing that what Paul went through, brothers and sisters, we can't fear none of the things that we're going to have to go through these trials and tribulations, dealing with what? Wives dealing with husbands. Guess what? You cannot let that stop you from what? From doing the work of this truth. Your jobs, your family members, don't let none of those things stop you, man. The affliction that you're going through, these are things to do what? To strengthen us for Jacob's trouble, man. Read on, Doc.
Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
And the devil did cast some of our people into prison. Some of our own people, that's what we always say. It ain't just red devils out here, it's black devils out here too, man. Or what we say, brown devils, meaning what? Some of our own people, man, that hate what we are doing. Because it stops the collection plate from going around, man. Read on.
That ye may be tried.
And ye may be what?
That ye may be tried.
Being tried strengthens your spirit, because they're going to bring up false accusations. I heard y'all hate me. What do? We ain't doing nothing but teaching the commandments. We're teaching our people that, guess what? To marry their wives. To men to be, guess what? Providers. Not to steal, not to kill. What's the harm in that? That let you know that, guess what? America is not a Christian nation like how they prove to be, man. Read on, Doc.
And ye shall have tribulation 10 days.
Read on, Doc.
Be thou faithful unto death.
Read it again, Doc.
Be thou faithful unto death.
Uh-huh.
And I will give thee a crown of life.
That's what Christ is warning us, man. The same thing what Paul did. He was being faithful unto death. That's why, hey, Paul is sealed, man. Go ahead, Doc.
Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Read that. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. For I think that God has set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were approved to death.
Appointed to death. Read that again. Isaiah 2,
For I think that God has set forth us, apostles, last, as it were appointed to death.
Guess what? And this goes into the same thing I was reading in Revelation chapter 2. Same thing how Paul was going through persecution. Guess what? Some of us might go through the same persecution, right? We read.
For we are made a spectacle unto the world.
Because guess what? We are made spectacle to this world, man. A lot of our people see us like, man, I can't believe y'all keeping some commandments. Look at these damn fools over here keeping these commandments. What's these shingles on y'all clothes? Look at these damn fools, man. Man, they really going to church on Saturday, man. All this right here, Saturday, all this fun they out here doing, all these stores out here selling all this good stuff. Look at these damn fools. Man, these sisters got their head wrapped. They in order. Ain't this a damn shame? She ain't arguing with her husband. Man, what's wrong with you? Why you ain't arguing with your husband? Why you ain't arguing with the group? Why you in order, sister? What's wrong with y'all sisters being in order? What a damn shame. That's a damn shame, y'all sisters.
Why y'all ain't got your breast out? Why y'all ain't showing your shape? Why y'all dress modestly? I mean, the list goes on and on, man. That's how destroyed our people is, man.
Damn, brother. Damn, why y'all keeping the commandments? Man, why y'all go out there and teach on the street? Y'all like some damn Power Rangers out here.
They trying to better y'all nation. Why y'all doing that?
Hey,
Y'all holding it down. That's something we can't do.
hey, y'all, why y'all men being fathers to y'all children, man? Why y'all provide for y'all family? What's wrong with y'all brothers,
Why
man?
y'all not killing each other?
Taking care of your church.
Why? Because guess what, man? Because when they look at us in our face and they see the light that's really on us, they can see it. Don't think that they can't. If a person was walking in, guess what? You think about yourself when you was in the world. That's just, you think the light ain't on you? Let's think about it. We're going to take a step back. Think about yourself in the world. When you see a person that was a pastor, you respected him because you thought he had a little light on him. You respected him, did you? You thought he had a little light on him. I respected the church. I never respected the man. That was the difference between me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was wicked as hell. I rode past the church. I wouldn't hit the lump by the church until I rode by. Then I hit it once I go past it. But just a damn fool. I thought like a fool. But guess what? To us looking at it, they see the light on us. Don't think that they don't see it. They like, man, this person different. Then they want to get rid of you, but then they like, no, I'll fire his ass. No, I can't do that. I'm gonna fire her. No, I can't fire her. Because the light is on us. They know what these friends is, and they know how we get down, right? But watch how Paul's talking and read.
For we are made a spectacle to the world.
We made a spectacle to this world, man.
And to angels.
And to angels, read.
And to men.
And to men. Right? Because it's evil angels too. Right? Because Satan got his own workers too. And this angel's going into messengers. Guess what? Goes into the pastors. Goes into the theological food. But watch this though, read.
Verse 10. We are fools for Christ's
We
sake.
are what?
We are fools for Christ's sake.
That's what Paul had to do. That's what we have to do, to be fools for Christ's sake, man. Guess what? He ain't giving us a license to sin. He just telling us, no, we ain't gonna love this world. Everything that they doing, we're not gonna do with this. We're gonna be set apart from their flesh. We're gonna be set apart. Right? But watch it read.
But ye are wise in Christ.
But guess what? We're gonna be wise in Christ. We might look like a fool in front of everybody else, but in Christ, we're gonna look wise. Right? We're gonna show ourselves approved to the Most High, right? But watch it read.
We are weak, but ye are strong.
Guess what? We are weak. Guess what? That's how God's strong. Right? Read.
Ye are honorable, but we are despised.
Because guess what? Guess what? How Christ made himself Lord than the angels. Yeah, we made ourselves Lord in this world, man. But then they hear our mouths open. They hear the understanding of the Bible come out. Then all of a sudden now they confound it. Right? But watch this read.
even unto this present hour.
Even unto this present hour. We the same people of the book, man. Read.
We both hunger and thirst,
Read on.
and are naked, and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place.
Guess what? We don't have a certain dwelling place. Because we're our homeland. We got some bastards that live in Asgard right now. We ain't got no home to go to. So we ain't got no home to go. I mean, we ain't got no home. So guess what? They not took our home. They didn't just take our home. They took our nationality. They took who we are as a people. They took our heritage away. They took our clothes away. They took our understanding of who our God is away. They took the Bible away. All these things have been stripped from us, but yet still, like you say, you believe in everything else. Guess what? And you hate everything about slavery but religion. Because everybody still, there's a lot of people still gonna be celebrating Christmas. And there's a lot of people still gonna be celebrating birthdays. There's a lot of people gonna be celebrating these wicked ass holidays because of mom and them. Because of dad and them, because of brother and sister. Right?
Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and verse 14. Even to touch on what Ox said, we all seeking the country, man. Seeking our homeland back, man. Like I said, the Most High God is going to give it back to us in blood, too. All right. You get there, read that, Ox.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 14. For they that say such things declare plainly.
What?
Declare plainly
Read on, Ox.
that they seek a country.
Hey, we seek a country, man. We seek our homeland back, man. Read on, Ox.
And truly, if they had been mindful of that country,
If we had been mindful of the seriousness of us breaking the commandments, being taken out of that country, man, read on up.
from which they came out, they might have had opportunity to have
Read
returned.
on up.
But now they desire a better country,
Read on,
than
huh?
these, unheavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God,
Read on up.
for He hath prepared for thee a city.
And guess what? The Most High God is preparing for us a city, man. We just got to hold fast to what the Most High God is telling us to do. Keeping the commandments, having faith in Christ, man. Go ahead, Op.
Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 17. And like I said, we do demand a country. So why you think we fight against these different doctrines, man? Guess what? We demand respect in this Bible. We demand, guess what? Jesus getting our damn place. Alright? We demand Israel take our places that we supposed to. Men get y'all ass in order, women get y'all ass in order. We don't want to see people fall out. But we ain't gonna play the game with y'all either. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 17.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 17. But as God hath distributed to every man, as the Lord hath called every one, so let him walk. And so ordain I in all churches.
So guess what? Paul said ordain I in all churches, man. Right? Read.
Verse 18, if any man called being circumcised,
Is any man called being circumcised? Read.
let him not become uncircumcised.
Let him not. Why does it? If you circumcised from birth, can you go back and put that foreskin back on your fingers, man? This is being real. You can't put it back. You can't grab that mug back in either. Right? It ain't gonna work out. Right? But it said, verse 18 again.
Is any man called being circumcised,
Uh-huh.
let him not become uncircumcised.
Let him not become uncircumcised. Let's go to Leviticus right quick. We're going to be coming back to 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 2.
The book of Leviticus chapter 12, verse 2. Speaking to the children of Israel, saying,
Read.
if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days,
She going to be unclean 7 days. Read.
according to the days of the separation for her infirmity, shall she be unclean.
Read.
And in the 8th day,
And in the what?
and in the 8th day,
And in on the 8th day, read.
the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
This goes into the circumcision, man, by the skin. It's the same circumcision that the Lord had told with who? Abraham. Goes into the same. Guess what? When a child is being born, guess what? A child's supposed to be circumcised. A man child's supposed to be circumcised, right? So if a male child's supposed to be circumcised, how can a woman child be circumcised? What you gonna circumcise for a woman? You ain't gonna know. Nothing. Not physical. Because if we had to circumcise them, we got a problem.
No, that's the stuff that Africans do.
Oh, no, they circumcise you.
Yeah, that's a ritual of Ham. He ain't doing that. That's straight mutilation.
They some child burial, nigga. Some child bomb.
Circumcise everything. No matter how you gonna be circumcised, it is another thing.
Now you see they put on verse 10, gender to be announced, to be determined.
Man, they better get there.
Yes.
Let you know later. I'll let you know later. Sorry.
Well, then they're gonna shoot all them shots up in the knee, like they're gonna tell you who your child is. But this right here goes into we going into the circumcision right quick, man. We gotta touch on it because go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. We gotta touch on circumcision because this is how they thinking that they can get us through this circumcision, right? Yeah, verse 18.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 18. Chapter 7, verse 18. Is any man called being uncircumcised?
Any man called being uncircumcised.
Let him not become uncircumcised.
They said, let this man not become uncircumcised, right? For reason.
Is any called in uncircumcision? Let him not be circumcised.
Now we're gonna try to answer like multiple questions in one. Go to Romans chapter 2 and verse 29.
Book of Romans chapter 2 verse 29. But he is a Jew which is one out inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart and the spirit and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men but of God.
It said, jump up to verse, did I read verse 28? Read verse 28.
Romans chapter 2 verse 28. For he is not a Jew which is one out.
No, jump up verse 25.
Book of Romans chapter 2 verse 25. For circumcision verily profit if thou keep the law.
So circumcision do profit if you do keep the law, right? Read.
But if thou be a breaker of the law,
But if you be a breaker of the law, read.
thy circumcision is made uncircumcised.
Y'all see how they go? Your circumcision can be made uncircumcised when you breaking God's law. Paul literally said that, man. Right? He literally saying this, right? But read.
Verse 26. Therefore, if the circumcision keep the righteousness of the law.
Verse 26.
Yeah, read it again.
Verse 26. Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law,
Uh-huh.
shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
I think Christians is delusional.
Man, I mean,
He said if you are uncircumcised, he said if you keep the righteousness of God's law, then your uncircumcision can come back to be circumcised again. Y'all understand that?
and they think that's in the physical.
That's right.
But at the same time, when he said, if you circumcise, he said, if you don't keep the law, you become what? Uncircumcised, right? So what happened? Your skin just grow back again? That's what I was talking about that in the physical. But they try to look at it as a physical thing when it's a spiritual thing that's going on. And then they try to cross his words out. That's the first thing they try to ask them. You circumcised? I mean, does that matter? Yeah, I'm circumcised because I keep the law.
That's right, man. Verse 27, Doc.
Verse 27. It shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature,
Which is by nature, read.
if it fulfill the law, judge thee, who by the letter and circumcision does transgress the law.
Read, Doc.
For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly,
Now, this goes into, they said he's not a Jew, which is one outwardly, read.
neither is that circumcision, which is one which is outward in the flesh,
Read.
but he is a Jew which is one inward,
Which is one inwardly.
and circumcision is that of the heart and the spirit, and not in the letter,
And not in letter. Read.
whose praise is not of men,
What of God. But when you look at on how Paul is talking, guess what? To a person that don't have common sense, this don't mean that. Right? Well, Paul clearly saying that guess what, he's a Jew inwardly. But guess what? But the only way he can be having a true circumcision is what? By him keeping God's law. That's the only way he can have a true circumcision, by him only keeping God's law. You can be a Jew inwardly, guess what? And it don't mean nothing. You still can be uncircumcised. You can be a Jew outwardly, and you still can be what? Uncircumcised. You can be a Jew inwardly and still be uncircumcised by not keeping God's law. It don't make a difference. Go ahead.
And the point is, even like what I'm talking about breaking down, brothers want to make sure that they pay attention to that. Because Christians pull that, they don't know what the hell they talking about, man. Like I said, even with certain brothers in camps, like you say, just because you wear fringes don't make you holier than thou.
It don't make you in the truth either.
That's right. It don't make you in the truth just because you wear fringes, man, on the outside. No, most like God is saying what? Be clean on the outside, but more importantly, be clean on the inside. Like you said, even in Matthew chapter 15, they make clean the outside of the cups, but on the inside, man, they dirty as hell. You have sisters that's beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, they ugly as hell. And vice versa. No, you want to be clean on the inside as well as the outside. That's just a quick breakdown, man.
That's right. Especially being converted.
That's right.
Repent and be converted. Change.
This has nothing to do with
Other nations.
and I'm talking about has nothing at all.
Other nations.
They literally pulled this to say, oh no, you don't have to be a Jew now. No, it don't matter that you're not a Jew. This is not what that scripture is saying. All the scripture is saying is have your spirit clean as well as your outside clean. That's all that this is saying. It has nothing to do. Because it literally tells you and goes into the point in chapter 3, verse 1. Read that right quick.
Look at Romans chapter 3, verse 1. What advantage then had the Jew?
Read it again.
What advantage then had the Jew?
So verse 29 and 28 let you know that that's not literally talking about being another nation. Because it's literally telling us that it is an advantage to being an Israelite, man. Like that makes no sense, man. Read on up.
Or what profit is there of circumcision?
What profit is you keeping the commandments, man? Read on up.
Much every way.
Read it again.
Much every way.
Read on up.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
So it's literally telling you it's an advantage to being an Israelite. Letting you know that verse 28 and 29 ain't talking about other nations, man. Go ahead, huh?
Go to Philippians chapter 3 right
And when it says, then have what advantage then have to do, that's your advantage. By converting, being a Jew inwardly, right? By changing yourself, that's your advantage. But you don't have an advantage being a Jew just by wearing fringes, just by wearing the hairband, just by putting on the body strip. But your advantage is converting. That's what it said in 28, 29. See, a lot of times when you read these scriptures, remember, it wasn't chapters like this.
Right.
They just read down and went to the next. 28 is referring to 29
That's
is referring
right.
to verse 1.
Just one long letter.
Yeah.
So now when they say, what advantage then had the Jew? That's your advantage
That's right.
by being a Jew inwardly, by what changed, by being converted.
And it says, much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. And he said, because why do we need to keep the law? Because the laws were given to us. And in order for us to give them, in order for us to be doing this and have to go back to our heritage, what did he say? We read that earlier. It's our heritage, chiefly in every way. Because if we go back to doing what God told us to do, we'll be in a certain place. So it's an advantage. That's what we're taking right now. We're taking advantage of that now. Chiefly in every way. By what? Keeping God's law.
Let's go to Philippians chapter 3 and verse 3 right quick. If you get there, I'll just read it.
The book of Philippians chapter 3, verse 3. For we are the circumcision, which worship God in the spirit.
So guess what? He said we are the circumcision. We are the people that is of the circumcision, man. The ones that keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. Guess what? If another nation can't do it, then what the hell they got to do with any kind of circumcision, man? Right? The only way you can be circumcised is by keeping God's law. If you ain't got nothing, if you can't keep God's law, what can you do about circumcision? Right? Verse 3 again, huh?
The book of Philippians chapter 3, verse 3. For we are the circumcision.
He said we are the circumcision, man. Read.
Which worship God in the spirit. And rejoice in the Mashiach Yahushua.
Read.
And have no confidence in the flesh.
He said, guess what? We ain't got no confidence in the flesh. Right? Just because a person, guess what? Like you said, wearing fringes. Just because a person, guess what? Seems like you got your beard growing and all that. That don't mean nothing when you ain't keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. You got to be keeping the commandments to be circumcised. Male or female. The only way.
You wearing your fringes, but you're not keeping new moon. You wearing fringes, but you're not gathering amongst your people on the Sabbath.
Yep.
You wearing your fringes, but you're not keeping Passover. You eating unclean foods. You want to make sure that, like you say, your outside lines up with your inside, man. That's the whole point. There's no confidence in the flesh.
Watch how it's saying.
Read on. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh.
He said, though, guess what Paul said? I might have confidence in the flesh, but watch how he read it, though.
If any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more.
I more, right? Read.
Circumcised the 8th day.
Guess what, man? If our custom is if we have a child, guess what? It be a baby boy, we supposed to circumcise on the 8th day. That's a part of our law. That's a part of our custom. That's a part of our covenant. After 8 days, when we have a child born, guess what? The baby's supposed to be circumcised. That law never changed. Right? I know some of the people 97 years old trying to, after 8 days, you're supposed to be, when you're born, the baby's supposed to be circumcised. That's a part, that's part of, when they said that you can't keep the whole law, guess what? A woman can't keep that law that a baby boy can do, that a male can do. That's not part of her law, because she ain't got nothing circumcised. Right? But read.
Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel.
Of the stock of who?
Of the stock of Israel.
No, some other nation, man.
Of the stock of Israel.
Only Israel's supposed to be. That's why you think Esau, when they get you have a baby in their hospital, they're going to circumcise your baby the next day or the same damn day. Esau, hell, man. Right? Read.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Read on.
A Hebrew of the Hebrew.
He said, remember, he grew up in Hebrew. They don't get twisted, man. Read.
As touching the law, a Pharisee.
And he said also, I'm touching the law. Guess what? I'm doing the law and I'm also a Pharisee.
But it's bad.
Now I'm talking about run them down. Right?
That idea, yeah, Hebrew.
Oh, keep
Wanna
reading.
keep the law.
Read verse 6 right quick. Oh, okay. No. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now read verse.
Go ahead.
Concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law.
Which is in what?
Which is in the law.
Read that last part.
Touching the righteousness which is in the law.
Uh-huh.
Blameless.
What?
Blameless.
What?
Blameless.
Blameless, man.
And that's awesome. Going back to another precept for church that they keep
that's
talking
right.
about.
Hey, brother, let me line them precepts up with the church, man. Who is the book of Philippians written to? What brother got a precept? I don't want to. What precept? How do we know what you got, brother? Right? Yeah, let's read that right quick.
The book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 1.
This is giving you the context and the audience who it is talking about. When brothers, or when they try to bring up questions about Paul, this is where brothers should go in the epistles. Go to the beginning of the chapter to set the tone on who the audience is. So when they try to go to those scriptures where it say Gentiles, no, the audience that Paul is talking to is the Israelites, scattered in these particular places. Brothers got to remember that. Read that out.
Paul,
Philippians 1 verse 1.
Philippians chapter 1, verse 1. Paul and Timotheus, the servants of Mashiach Yahushua, to all the saints in Christ Yahushua.
To all the who?
To all the saints.
Brother Renard, who the saints according to the Bible? What's the precept? Catch brother slipping, boy. Twin, help him out. I said, twin, help him out.
You got a twin?
That bro got a twin, man.
Slim, I ain't know that.
Psalms 148, verse 14, man. Certain precepts I expect brothers to know. Even new brothers, man. I expect brothers to know them precepts. Go ahead, Doc.
Let's go to Acts chapter 15, man. Verse 1. Right quick. This goes into the same. Acts chapter 15, verse 1 goes into the same thing we just get there. Read it.
The book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, you cannot be saved.
So now this raised up the question. Dang, what if you ain't circumcised by the man of Moses? Then can you be saved? Just asking the question, right? Because they was teaching this, right? But read.
Verse 2, when therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and dispensation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go into Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question.
So they wanted to go ask the elders about this question, right? But read.
And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria.
Why did they call Samaria part of the church? Why would they call part of the church? That's right, because they was a part of the northern tribe.
What precept?
Right?
Isaiah 7 and 8.
Because guess what? They was calling them part of the church. They was calling them part of the church. And they also was calling them, read the rest of it, watch what they call it.
Passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversation of the
You
Gentiles.
see how that is? And they will read that to say that the northern tribe was Gentiles. But they won't call them northern tribe, they just call all nations. He's calling to talk to all nations. But this is something that they would twist.
Brothers, make sure y'all take notes on that, man. It is a great precept. That is a great precept showing that, guess what, Israelites being called Gentiles. Phoenicia and Samaria, man, that's a great precept.
Isaiah 7 and 8.
Yes. Isaiah 7 and 8.
7, 8, 9, here we got it. Right? Read verse 3 again.
Acts chapter 15, verse 3. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversation of the Gentiles. And they caused great joy unto all the brethren.
They caused great joy to all the brothers. Right? Read.
Verse 4. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that God had done with them.
Read.
But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees, which believed, saying, that was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses.
So guess what? They went back. Guess what? And they went back. They going back. They argued two different points, man. One people argue. Guess what, man? If y'all keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, then y'all can be part of the circumcision. Northern tribe, y'all can just come back, keep God's law. Y'all can be part of circumcision. Guess what? The other people saying that, well, we ain't got to keep. We ain't got to. You need to go back and do like the law of Moses told you to do. You got to circumcise your foreskin. But the law of Moses told them to circumcise your foreskin in their heart too. Because it shouldn't have been a dissension between the two, or the dispute between the two, if they knew that Moses was speaking on the same circumcision, right? Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 16. Brothers should have that written down in their repertoire. should be having this down by Acts chapter 15 and 5. Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 16. This is what that's going into.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
So the Lord told them in Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 16 to circumcise the foreskin of their hearts. Going into, guess what? Go back into keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. They all keep going back to one and the same. Right? When you like you say, when you get into the scripture. Let's go back to Acts chapter 15. It says, verse 6, and the apostles and the elders came together for to consider this matter. Now we're going to read verse 7.
Acts chapter 15, verse 7. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren,
Read.
ye know how that a good while ago God made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth.
What Gentiles was just saying?
You brothers,
I'm trying to tell you, man.
man, brothers taking good notes, y'all wouldn't have this, man. I just asking the question, man.
What Gentiles is that saying, man? Why is y'all talking so low, man?
The brothers don't know the answer. That's it. Brothers ain't taking good notes, man. What is the precept? Because we don't went over this. Say it again. Yeah, that's the precept, but who are the Gentiles too? Y'all listen. Cornelius. Cornelius. Paul was sent. That's why Peter is saying that.
Right.
That's why you have Acts chapter 10. Because it's literally talking about Cornelius. For new brothers, I don't expect y'all to understand this, but for my crews that been here, I damn well expect crews to know that.
Like I can see, I mean, all these things break down. I mean, they it's plain upon tape, right? Read verse 7 again.
Book of Acts chapter 15, verse 7. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago God made choice among us.
He said God made a choice among us. What's the choice that God made among them? He would not cast Israel out forever.
That's right.
That's the choice that he made among us. That Israel would not be cast out forever. That's the reason why Vocab no swaying got his ass tore up on the streets. Because guess what? When he brought his ass out into the curve, guess what he had? When did God put the family back together? Right? That was a decision that the Lord made among Peter them, and the same decision that he's making among us, that he putting the family back together again. Right? I'm talking about all day. Read.
And that the Gentiles by mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe.
And do what?
And believe.
Because guess what, man? We don't care how soft Esau can talk. Esau's still a damn devil, man. He be talking all kind of soft. To my Esau, you a little soft, weak ass dude, man. And be coming weak and soft, and guess what? They'll get a foolish person that doesn't know nothing about the scripture. They'll get you.
Let me get a precept right quick.
All right? Go ahead.
Let's go to the book of Acts chapter 10, verse 34. I can't, man. You just can't, man. They just butchered the scriptures, man. And a lot of these things are just read verbatim. You read in the book of Romans chapter 9, verse 4 on all the things that pertain to Israel. Christians are even butchered that. No. Well, forget all that. Let's just jump down to verse 25 and 27. Like that's going to make a difference. The context is Hosea 1 and 10. Read this right quick, God.
The book of Acts chapter 10, verse 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons.
What's the precept for respect of person? 5. Exodus 2 and 25. God is no respecter of person, but he respects Israel. Read on. Go ahead, Al.
You gotta bring that up because they use that all the time. See, When they gonna if you don't give them the definition, guess what? They gonna give you the definition.
For real.
The wrong. Go ahead.
Read on up.
But in every nation.
But in who?
But in every nation.
Got you. They got us. They got us right there. I had to hold my piece on that, man. Shout out my Dave Chappelle on that thing, man. Read on up.
He that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him.
But in every nation, let's see who the every nation is talking about. Read up.
The word which God sent unto the children of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
Of who up?
Of Israel.
Read on up.
Preaching peace by Hamashiach Yahushua. He is Lord of all.
He is Lord of all. The word that he sent to the Israelites scattered amongst all the nations. Go ahead, up.
Don't give them. Keep reading down.
Man, it's crazy. It's so
bro.
and you gotta know they know because they stopped there. That up above, and they don't want to go no further than
Oh,
that.
yeah, they
But
don't.
any other time, read the whole chapter. But then when it's time they're finna cut them, they don't want to read that whole chapter. But then we want to read the whole chapter. Like I said, we can read every chapter in the book. It don't matter.
And you're gonna do that, but just keep saying the same thing that they can't hear. That's the whole point.
That's why it doesn't matter what they pull. You let them pull it. Pull it. Because when we pull it, when we break it down, they ain't gonna want that no more. They're gonna find something else.
Let me get something else. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, get it.
Get it then, right? Go back to Acts chapter 15, man. Yeah, start at verse 8, man.
Book of Acts chapter 15 verse 8.
This right here goes to the same thing y'all was pulling in Acts chapter 10 and verse 34 through 36 and 37, man. 34 through 36, right? Make sure you brothers write that down beside that because it explains it. Read.
Acts chapter 15 verse 8. And God which knoweth the hearts bear them witness, giving them the Holy Ghost, even as he did unto us, and put no difference between us and them.
I want you to read that right. He said, put no difference between us and them. Who is the us and them that is talking about, man? The northern and southern kingdom. What we just read in Acts chapter 10, verse 34 through 36. That's why I said, brothers, y'all make sure y'all write that down beside this, man. Put no difference between us and them. Right? This also goes back into the prophecy. Say what?
Hey.
Watch this. Go to Jeremiah chapter 50. Verse 33.
Tell brothers that kind of take notes slow, sisters that kind of take notes slow. What should y'all do? Go back and watch the videos at your own discretion. You can literally watch the video, pause it, take notes. And I'm gonna tell you, that's what gets your studying up. Brothers and sisters are not doing that. You see, a lot of times they struggle with taking notes.
Right? And also, guess what? Move closer to the front of the class. Right? Most people that don't want to hear, guess what? A lot of times folks get back in the class. That's what I see. If I ain't want to hear nothing, I go to the back of the class. If you get slow, if you're a slow learner or a slow hearer, guess what? You might need to move a little bit closer. Right? Go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Because guess what? We all oppressed together. That's why you see the northern tribe and the southern tribe both live in the same damn hood, man. That's why the Lord showing us that we oppressed together, man. Right? Read.
And all that took them captive, held them fast.
Read.
They refused to let them go.
And they refused to let us go. He said, I know you want to leave. What happened up?
I refuse to let you.
Refused, man. Refused to let us go.
I'll praise you, brother.
Read. 34.
Verse 34, the Redeemer is strong.
Their Redeemer is strong, man. Read.
The Lord of hosts is his name.
Read on.
He shall thoroughly plead their cause,
Read on.
that he may give the rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon.
Jump over to chapter 3 and verse 18, man. It goes into the same thing, man.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel.
Because guess what? In those days, these are the days that we walking together. Like you say, we live in the same hood, man. Go to the same grocery store, go to the same school, man. Guess what? Get what? They have battle amongst each other and we do too. Right? But read.
The thing about it is, when they said leading to make them jealous by bringing the fold back. And when you go through black neighborhoods, we move all in the neighborhood. The Northern Kingdom, this is called. And a lot of black people like they taking over. No, they ain't. They just being oppressed with you.
But read.
In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance.
So the Lord said we both, guess what, coming out of the land of the north. It's mighty funny that we down here in North America. It's so mighty funny. The Lord said we coming out of the land of the north together. Right? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 11.
Look at Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh.
In the what?
In the flesh.
He said we were Gentiles in the flesh. It didn't say inward. Let's go into a carnal matter. We were stinking like Gentiles. Well, guess what? We was doing Gentile things.
You wasn't circumcised like the Gentiles.
Right? And he said, in times past, we were Gentile in the flesh, like you said. We wasn't circumcised like the Gentiles. Guess what? In a long time, guess what? Brothers was walking around circumcised, wasn't it, man?
Really?
And eat it out. Right? Right? Hey, it just what it was. There's a lot of brothers walking around like that. Straight, hey, yeah, what it is. Right? But read.
Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision,
Who are called uncircumcision, read.
by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh, made by hand.
So if we going, matter of fact, I want to get that first Maccabees. Let's go to first Maccabees right quick. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11.
And that's what Christianity has did to our people, man. They have literally programmed our people to not want to go into the apocrypha. Because if they don't go into the apocrypha, they will never know the history of how we became Greeks. That's why I don't want to go into the apocrypha. Yeah, that's because you don't want to know the history, man. You got all captivities in the Bible, but all of a sudden the Greeks is not in there. When everybody known about Alexander the Greek or the Greek. I mean, everybody knows, but then you don't want to go into biblical history concerning it.
Which is one of the reasons they told you not to pick up the Bible, so they can put that Galatians 3 and 8. So you have no clue. See, Greeks. Is the Jew or Greek? So that means what? Just the Jews and the Greeks can make it to the kingdom? But that's what they trying to say when they use it. But that's what they're saying if they use it when they say it.
Even the book of Jude, where you think the name come from? Judas Maccabee. That's what the book of Jude name come from. It's originated, man. It just brought down what Judas came from. Judah. Them names just was handed down. They just had a couple letters changed within it, right? Through the captivity. Right? Go to First Maccabees chapter 1 and 11.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
So he said, let us make a covenant with the heathens This is how we make our uncircumcision, make our circumcision uncircumcision. And it's gonna say it clearly too. Watch this in the read.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Read.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem.
So guess what, man? These people were so happy that they was accepted by the other nations. They just started building gymnasiums and started getting licensed to guess what? Make our people go play sports. Here's what it is. Right? Well, watch it read.
According to the customs of the heathen.
That was a custom of the heathen, right? But read.
And made themselves uncircumcised.
And made themselves what?
And made themselves uncircumcised.
And they made themselves uncircumcised, guess what? Taking on to the other nations' customs. It says in prayer, right? But read.
And forsook the holy covenant.
And forsook what?
The holy
And they
covenant.
forsook the holy covenant, man. Right? Read.
And joined themselves to the heathen. And were sold to do mischief.
So guess what? This is how you make your circumcision uncircumcised when you take over to their customs. You then become uncircumcised, man. Right? It should be made plain to brothers, man. Right? Let's go back to Ephesians.
The book of Ephesians chapter 2 verse 12. That at that time he were without Christ.
So guess what? When we was taking over, before we got into this truth, we was taking over to their custom. We was without Christ. The true understanding of Christ, that we supposed to be keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Because there was a lot of people that was in Christianity that wasn't keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments, right? But now that we in the truth, now that we know we're supposed to be keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments, guess what happened? Now we've been circumcised, right? In the foreskin of our hearts. Same thing Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 16 is saying, right? But watch you read it.
Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Why did I always keep saying Israel? Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. Because now we know that we Israel, right? But read.
And strangers from the covenants of promise.
Read.
Having no hope and without God in the world.
Because before we was in this truth, we didn't have no hope. Only thing you know how to be, only thing a woman knew how to be was be a bad bee, how to get your bag, guess what, how to come up off of whatever you got. Guess what, whether it be between your legs or whether you got to help a dope boy sell drugs or whatever the matter was, you did whatever you had to do to survive. But now that you're in the truth, guess what you're doing? You're doing everything that the Lord tells you to do. Now he's helping you along the way to show you how it's the easy way to survive. Just like us men, guess what? We wasn't part of the promise when we was in the world. We didn't have the covenant. We didn't have nothing. We didn't have no hope. Think before the truth. Did anybody have any hope that they was gonna make it to the kingdom before the truth? Nobody. That's why a lot of times I know me personally, I didn't give a damn about no pastors, no church, no none of that. Why? Because guess what? I felt like it wasn't no hope no way. Because I asked my mama all the time, why we keep going through all this? Hey, don't question God. And then, hey, I'm looking at God like, hey, I don't know what my mama saying, but I feel like this ain't right. Right? I've been like this all my life. It ain't just started today or 8, 9 years ago when I got in the truth. No, it's been like this. And I said, oh man, listen, I've been mad for a long damn time, man. Guess what? And this fire ain't stopped yet, man. And Brother Fire and Sister Fire should be still living in this truth, man. No matter what it takes for us to grow, you're supposed to be growing in this truth, right? Read on up.
Verse 13. But now in the Mashiach Yahushua, ye who sometimes were far off, are made nigh by the blood of Christ.
Because guess what? Now we are being made nigh by his blood. That's why we got grace. Right? But guess what? According to them, what you call them? The Christians. Now all of a sudden this grace thing, you can go through it, the law done away with grace. That's a fool, man. Right? That is a fool. Go to John chapter 7.
I want y'all to go ahead and go to these things out. I want to explain a little bit on that in Ephesians chapter 12. Read that part again.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 12 from the top. That at that time you were without Christ,
You didn't have Christ, which he explained that beautifully. Go ahead.
being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Being what?
Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Anybody know what a commonwealth is? Like they call it commonwealth state. I'm gonna read it for you. A country or state that is governed by its people or their elected representative. Meaning this, it has under the government of Israel. He said being alienated from the government of Israel. Even though these Northern Kingdom was living in Israel. Just give you other clues. Because a lot of times they don't think y'all even gonna go that deep. But I'm just saying that's what a commonwealth is. And he said they was being alienated from the commonwealth of Israel. Meaning they'll be alienated, taken away from the laws of that land of the children of Israel. Go ahead and read it and see some more.
And strangers from the covenant of promise.
And from the covenant of what?
From the covenants of promise.
They became strangers from the covenant of promise. Meaning, and it's already showed in 2:11 that these people used to be Israel. Now they became alienated and they became strangers. That's how this breaking down to of the commonwealth of Israel. And now they away from the law. And this, like I said, that 2:11 that he just brought out, it's kind of breaking down a lot of stuff that explains. Well, it explains to us. I don't know. Talk to the Christian they just don't get it. But I'm letting y'all see. Do y'all see what it's talking about? I was talking about the commonwealth, the alienated. You've been alienated from these laws. You left these laws. Just going through the whole thing. It's giving you real clear example. That's why I say take your time when you read stuff. Read it very carefully. One verse. Remember I told you one verse? Dig it. I mean, dig a hole in that son of a gun till there ain't nothing left. And I promise you, your eyes open to the word of the Lord.
I want to read verse 14 because I had a Christian come and say they actually put us back together. Verse 14.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 14. For he is our peace, who have made both one.
Read that again.
Who have made both one.
Read.
And have broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
So that made us both one. How do you make us both one? We just talked about though. I want to say God on my mind. How do you make us both one? Remember, we were talking about Cornelius. He gave us to understand in Acts 10:28. Right? Get that right. It said, "Who had broken down the middle wall of partition." This is how he broke down the wall of partition right here between them.
So look at Acts chapter 10, verse 28.
Bring it out.
And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or to come unto one of another nation.
Read.
But God hath showed me.
But God, what?
But God hath showed me
Uh-huh.
that I shall not call any man common or unclean.
So it's not that he put the nation us back together, but he gave us the understanding of who we are, right? So when he's saying made both one, now we get to understand that. Guess what? Now what? The Northern Kingdom is our brothers, right? Now the Northern Kingdom is our family. We're back together. But we go back to 14 to read it and broken down the middle wall of partition.
Verse 14, for he is our peace. For he is our peace who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
And that's another thing to show you. Go real quick. Go to Zechariah 11 to 14. Show you how he broke down the wall of partition. I was going at the damn prison right, and he was like, man, like stop it. No, we've never been put back together. But what he did is showed us who our national, who we are, right? Well, see how he broke down the wall of partition.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 14. Then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel.
Read on.
And the Lord said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of the foolish shepherd. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat and tear their claws in pieces.
So he broke the band by what? Ephraim shall not what? The wall of partition. Ephraim shall not what? Vex Judah. Judah shall not vex Ephraim. You see that? That's how he broke that wall of partition down. Look, that's what we doing as a nation. We're going against it. Like I brought out. Issachar, they doing better than us. I had a brother, mailman come in and say, man, them Mexicans ain't our brothers, man. This last week, I was like, you gotta get understanding. That's that wall of partition he breaking down between them, trying to show you that they are our brothers, right? So how he did that is by breaking down that wall by what? Ephraim can't vex Judah, Judah can't vex Ephraim, right? But that's a whole lot, but I just want to touch that. We can go back there. But y'all see that when they say boasting?
Let's go to John chapter 7. John chapter 7, verse 1. You get there, I'll read.
The book of St. John, chapter 7, verse 1. After these things, Yahweh walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in Jericho, because the Jews sought to kill him.
Guess what? He said he would not walk in Jericho because they were going to try to kill Christ. Right? Read.
Now the Jews' feast of tabernacle was at hand.
And Jericho is Judah, man, today. Read. He said in the Feast of Tabernacle was at hand, right? It was during the tabernacle, man, right? Let's jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7, the world cannot hate you, but me and hate you.
So guess what, man? No matter how you think these people hate you or hating on you, they are not hating you or hating on you. Right? This is what Christ said, read.
The world cannot hate you, but me and hate you.
That's what they hate. It's the God that they see in you. The light that they see in you is what they hate. They don't hate you as a person. But guess what? If you start walking in that light today, they'll love you. They'll love you more than they ever loved. No, they hate the person that you are becoming. It's the person that you are. They see it in you. Right? Read.
Because I testify of it.
Because guess what? Christ testified of it. He made it. He know it. Right? Read.
That the works thereof are evil.
He said, guess what? All these people that's in this world, guess what? They work evil deeds, man. Evilness can come in many different forms, man. But guess what? We're going to keep on pushing, man. That's what Christ did. He kept on pushing, right? But read.
Verse 8, go ye up unto this feast. I go not up yet unto this feast, for my time is not yet come.
Right? Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10, but when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up unto the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret.
So guess what? He came, he kept the feast too, but he went in, guess what? He went in secret. Why? Because they sought to kill him. He just said why he came in it, because they sought to kill him, right? But read.
Then the Jews saw him at the feast and said,
So, but guess what? They spotted him out, man. Why? Because he got the light on him. This is the king, man. Who ain't gonna see the king? Like we looking at Christ, nigga, you can't hide. You see, right? But anyway, watch this though. Read.
Then the Jews saw him at the feast and said, where is he? And there was much murmuring among the people concerning him.
Read.
For some said, he is a good man. Others said, nay, but he deceiveth the people.
So guess what? And they arguing back and forth, saying what? Some people going against Christ, some people for Christ. Guess what? Why you think when we on the street, our debate is going for Christ? Guess what? A lot of people use Paul to go against Christ. Right? Read.
Verse 13, howbeit no man spake openly of him for the fear of the Jews.
Right? Because guess what? And a lot of people, a lot of the people were scared to speak openly about Christ. Why? Because the elders, the chief priests, the scribes, and the Pharisees. Man. Right? Verse 15 now.
Verse 15, and the Jews marveled, saying,
Because Christ done showed his face. Now he up there teaching, man. Read.
and the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned?
So get what he said, man. How could you know all this, man? You ain't learned nothing, man. You ain't ain't come to these schools to learn what we got. Why you don't know this? Why you don't know the doctrine we got? Right? But they looking at Christ like, dang, how do you know all these, what you learn from? Right? That goes into, you know how you watching these movies, that's why when you looking at the spirituality movies, they be have seen this man, he be doing all kind of karate. They be like, damn, who your master is? Where you learn from? They want to know the school. Right? Well, read.
Yahweh shall answer them.
What you say?
My doctrine is not mine,
Uh-huh.
but his that sent me.
Guess what? Our doctrine in this truth is not ours. It's the God that sent us. That's his doctrine. Right? We just read the scriptures and we break it down, man, right? What the Lord tell us, command us to do.
That's the Trinity.
And they cuss the damn Trinity too. Right, read?
If any man will do his will,
If any man would do God's will,
he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself.
man, this is, man, see, this is why Christ talked to these scribes and Pharisees. Guess what? He talked to them clear. Just like when we talk to them with the precept, we talk to them clear. But a lot of times they don't want it. Right? Verse 19,
Verse 19, did not Moses give you the law?
he said, man, didn't Moses give you the law? Right? Read.
And yet none of you keepeth the law.
And he said, none of y'all keep the law. Because there's a lot of Christians that don't want to keep the law. They refuse to keep the law. Right? Read.
Why go ye about to kill me?
Uh-huh.
The people answered and said, Thou hast a devil who goeth about to kill me.
He said, man, you got a devil. Man, none of us said you can kill me. Well, guess what? Christ can read that thought. Guess what? Why you think Christ give us what? Discernment. Right? This is discernment. Well, I know you don't like you said when you be called, you got on the street, you supposed to call. Well, I know you don't like what we do. You can see it on them. They walk by and look at us like we ain't nothing. Guess what? We're opposed to them. Just for a little while anyway. Right? But watch it read.
Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, I have done one work, and ye all marvel.
Read.
Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision.
He said Moses gave you circumcision. Right, read.
Not because it is of Moses, but of the Father.
So guess what? He said Moses didn't just make this up. This came from the Most High God. Right?
Hey, brothers need to add that to their arsenal, man. Because people always love to say what? The Mosaic law. You know, you have to go in here and say, no, this is the Most High God's law.
Law of Moses. Man. No, it's not the law of Moses. So I gave him the law.
That's right. Make sure brothers write that down, man.
And ye on the seventh day circumcise a man.
He said, and ye on the seventh day, you circumcise man on the seventh day, right? Or read.
Verse 23, if a man on the Sabbath day receive circumcision, that the law of Moses should not be broken, are ye angry at me, because I have made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day?
Read.
Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
How do we judge righteous judgment, man? That's just plain. How do we judge righteous judgment?
Proverbs 31, 9, Leviticus 19:15.
19, 15. What else? How do we judge righteous?
Deuteronomy 21.
What?
First Corinthians 62.
First Corinthians 62. By the law. We judge righteously by the law. If we use God's law to judge our matters, we'll be okay. Everything else is out the window. Right? 2 Maccabees chapter 4, man. We're almost out here. When you start to lay in. 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 11.
Look at 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 11. And the world privileges granted a special favor to the Jews.
He said, in the world privileges granted a special favor to the Jews. Keep in mind the special favor that they gave to us. Right? Watch this read.
By the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments, which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law,
Guess what? And this is what Christianity doing right now, bringing up a new custom against God's law with religion. The same custom that they doing back then is the same creature that we got to fight on the forefront right now. Right? Watch this read.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself.
Because guess what? That place of exercise is not just a place of sports, but guess what? They had everything to occupy your mind against what God had. Guess what? No, let's take your mind away from this. Guess what? We're going to take your mind away from God and do everything right here to get some distractions. Right? But read.
And brought the chief young men under his subjection and made them wear a hat.
And make them wear a hat. Read.
Now such was the height of Greek fashion.
So guess what? All these things, these religions and everything that we see is the height of any Greek fashion, right? All the religions that we go through and all the religions that you see round about right now is a Greekish fashion, right? Read.
An increase of heathenish manner
In all this heathen manner, man, read.
through the exceeding profaneness of Jason.
Jason is one wicked woman. Jason's wicked as hell, man. Right? Read.
That ungodly wretch and no harm priest.
Because all Jason, he defamed his whole nation because he wanted to be high priest that damn bad. Guess what? We got people here in Israel doing the same damn thing. They get what they'll call spirit strife in the congregation because he wanted to be exalted. It makes no damn sense, man. It makes no sense, man. Watch it read.
That the priest had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple.
You see how they go? They want us to stop teaching this thing so badly to the point that we won't teach this thing no more at the altar. That means we don't come. It's in all these Sabbath classes, and everybody just let the Hebrew Israelite stuff go away, and everybody just go back to the church. That's what they want us to do. They want us to do this. No way, no how, man. Guess what, man? I won't give them. Everybody in the room walk away and leave. Guess what, man? Hey, so be it. Guess what? They got to come here and kill me by myself. I do it. And that's how our mindset got to be. If your mindset ain't ready to die for this truth, like they say, nah, die for this shit. Hey, we got to be ready to die for this, man. We got to lay our life on the line for this, man, because this is our protection. Right? But watch how I read, though.
But despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifice.
Because despising our temple, that's how it's going into our heritage. The sacrifice at the time was part of our heritage. But guess what? Guess what? They despise Christ as being the sacrifice. Guess what? Because of grace. And they use grace to go into sin and to go sin against our God. But watch you read.
Hasten to be partakers of the unlawful allowance.
So guess what? All these unlawful allowance, man. Read.
In the place of exercise. After the game of discus, called and border.
Read on.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
Guess what? Because a lot of these religions, they not set by the honors of our forefathers. They read.
But liking the glory of the Grecians. Best of all.
They like the glory of the Grecians, man. Why you think they like all these award shows and all these different things? They like this thing, man. Because we like Greece. We like the so-called white man stuff more than our own stuff. And our stuff is way better than theirs. You ever been to a white person barbecue? You ever been to they have raisins and stuff we can potato salad?
Raisins and potato salad.
There you go.
And another thing, he's talking about the sports also. Like a lot of times they tell you to get rid of commandments because it goes against what the world's trying to do. Because what happens if they got rid of commandments today and our children decide to keep the commandments? Wouldn't be no Friday night lights. You would not be seeing your children play on Friday night. You would not be seeing those Saturday night, those little children playing on the Saturday morning because they can't do that. That goes against the world system. So they had to come with getting rid of the laws in order to implement their ways of doing things. And it's funny because I say that because they're talking about the exercise, and one of our most biggest entertainment industry in the world is what we do for them. Is what? Entertain them in sports. Just imagine if we was not in sports. Can you see 10 white boys playing basketball for the championship?
You ain't gonna watch TV. Just like Just like going into what like we building on it. I know the smaller part is talking about the sport, but the biggest part is talking about what? A distraction. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. It's water on the left and it's fire on the right. You got to stay focused. Right?
See, we got to be made during this time. A lot of times I'm a kid going to the pros, but he ain't finna be playing on no Fridays where we gotta be like, he not playing.
Right. Verse 16,
Verse 16, by reason whereof sore calamity came upon them,
sore calamity came upon them, read.
for they had to defeat their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so
Now, I want
earnestly.
you to read that again.
For they had them to be their enemies and avengers.
So we had them to be our enemies and our avengers. Why that don't even make no damn sense? How can a heathen be our enemies and our avengers at the same damn time, man? But guess what? That's the type of trickery stuff that they'll say to us. Man, I'll be your avenger. Well, I thought you was my enemy. Well, I'll still be your avenger too. That's why they believe in Superman and Zeus and all this other stuff, man.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they got zodiacs and all this, man, because the people believe they are our avengers and our. A white man, ain't no white man came to save a whole bunch of niggas. Right? Have you ever seen a house catch on fire in the hood? And then guess what? And a so-called white man climb up in the damn fire truck and go get a whole bunch of niggas out the building? No, you ain't never seen that. Have you ever seen that book? No, you ain't never seen that. Right? But read on up.
Whose custom they follow so earnestly,
They custom they follow so earnestly, read.
and unto whom they desire to be like in all
We
things.
want to be like the Grecians in all things, verse 17.
For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God.
It ain't a light thing to do it weekly against the laws of the Most High God. We want our Christian counterparts to keep this in their mind, man. Read.
But the time following shall declare these
And
things.
guess what? This is the time that following that's going to be declared in the times to come. And with that, we're going to say shalom. It says, keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's get one in Leviticus chapter 19 and 15. We hope your brothers and sisters been edified today, man. Like and share the video. Help us to around the four corners of the earth, man. Alright? It said, follow God's law, statutes, and commandments, and the law of nations. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness,
But in what?
but in righteousness
But in righteousness, read.
shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
This is how we judge our neighbor, man. With that, we'll say shalom.
So,